Hello everybody and welcome to another episode of Versus, where I take whiskeys, put them head to head, and let you know which one deserves that coveted spot on your whiskey shelf. Tonight I have two different pot still Irish whiskeys at Cask Strength. These are going to be good. The Blue Spot came back out of retirement in early 2021 and comes back with a vengeance. Its time away hasn't missed a beat, and 58.7% ABV, this is a solid Cask Strength whiskey. The Redbreast Cask Strength is older in age, and even the brand touts itself as the definitive pot still Irish whiskey. Tonight's battle is called the Pugnacious Pot Stills. Blue Spot was reintroduced in 2021. It's aged for 7 years, non-chill filtered, natural color, bottled at 58.7% ABV, finished in sherry butts and Portuguese Madeira casks, and priced at about $100 to $110. The Redbreast Cask Strength was introduced in 2011. It's aged for 12 years, non-chill filtered, natural color, bottled at 57.2% ABV, aged in bourbon-seasoned American oak barrels, and Oloroso sherry-seasoned Spanish oak butts. It's priced at $71. A difference of 5 years, 1.5% ABV, and the Redbreast being aged in less barrels than the Blue Spot. This should be an interesting battle. Let's get into the nosing and the tasting. So, with the Blue Spot, all right. Boy, I'm going to enjoy this one. All right. So, appley, very appley. Exceedingly appley, actually, like baked apples. Pineapple as well, which has nothing to do with apples. But baked apple, pineapple, toasted oak. Kind of a spicy note that you're getting probably from the pot still itself, and just a general higher ABV to the nose. So, let's go ahead and have a taste. Cheers. Very good. All right. This one's just enjoyable. So you're getting black pepper. Kind of a not toasted pecan. Maybe like a toasted hazelnut, maybe? Toasted nuts of some sort. Can't quite put my finger on it. Vanilla. Cinnamon for sure. Kind of an earthy texture. Not like dusty dirt, but more like grass or something kind of springtime. It's heavy, but it has body to it that reminds me of grass. There's also something in there a little flowery as well. Very, very good. All right. Drink some water. Let's go ahead and pour our Redbreast. And when I first reviewed this one, I loved it. So I've actually liked both of these a lot. This one I loved. So let's go ahead and give it a nose. The ABV coming a little bit hotter on this one. And ultimately the nose is not as heavy as the Cask Strength Blue Spot, which is very interesting. But you are getting a little bit more nuance. You're getting a little, actually a lot more definition. So butterscotch is huge here. Vanilla. I'm sorry, I said butterscotch. I meant like toffee. I don't know why I confused those two. So toffee, vanilla. Roses, actually, interesting. Maybe a little bit of hay. Brown sugar. Again, those kind of coppery pot still spices are coming through here. This is very interesting, and there's a lot to smell here. All right, cheers, everybody. I'm a big fan of the body of this whiskey. The ABV here is slightly more approachable, but more so, it is less fierce, you know? This one, really, you feel it, and then you go past it. This one plays well with the flavors. You've got copper pot still, like that thing I just smelled in both of these whiskeys, you taste in this one. It's a very hard to describe kind of coppery, spicy note. Very hard to describe. If you've tasted it, you know what I'm talking about. Again, it's got kind of a flowery bit to it. Heavier though. Oily. It tastes as if... bananas. Maybe graham cracker. And now it's moving more towards the fruit. Apples. Cinnamon apples. Just a lot going on here. I suspect that there's a lot more that I'm not tasting immediately. So, let's go ahead and talk about these two whiskeys. Here's the deal. This one is more mature, 12 years. I attribute the fuller body here. The more mature, less impactful ABV is to the extra 5 years in the barrel. Almost without a doubt. This guy has some more flavors that I tend to enjoy more, and I feel stretches the profile of Irish whiskey just a little bit better. However, this one has multiple notes, many more than this, and they're more well defined. This is going to be a tough decision. I think I need another sip of each. Right now I'm just going off my general attitude towards the taste. I've given you some notes. This is what I would taste if I was at a bar doing these two together. Remember going to bars? Oh my gosh. Someday again. What I'm loving about this one over this is, again, that approachability of the cask strength. When you talk cask strength, it is important, unless you're diluting your whiskey, which I'm specifically not doing for this review, because I feel like this needs to be a competition between what the distiller put out there. I understand that diluting your whiskey to some degree will bring out additional flavors. I've covered those all in my videos up here if you want to check them out. I did an individual of both of these. But what I'm judging tonight is what comes out of the bottle. What I think, what I like, is the Redbreast. This one, to me, it was a contest, actually. I shouldn't say it wasn't. It was almost not a contest. This was a contest. Both of them have very good parts. The Redbreast Cask Strength, and you can still find this one. It's like kind of discontinued. It's a little tough. It's kind of discontinued. There's a lot out there still, but it's going away. You should buy this one. Now, here's the important part, and what ultimately tipped the scales for me. This is like $100 to $110. This is $70. That is a huge difference. $40 difference. You could buy this and a nice bourbon, or maybe a cheap scotch. Or actually pretty much any Irish whiskey. So here's the deal. I think that I would pick this one 2 or 3 times over this one, but if you are the kind of person who wants to taste spot whiskeys, this does have some interesting flavor notes that are in here. This one just has more of them, they're more defined, and the alcohol burn is more approachable / enjoyable. So, the Redbreast gets all my vote. I suggest you get it. Now, the fun time where I blend them. Find out if the synergy of the whiskeys is truly going to be better than the sum of its parts. Oftentimes when I do this, what I find is that the nose of one of them overtakes and the taste of the other one overtakes. But let's see. Interesting. There is a combination here that is working very well. My initial impression is strawberries. Almost strawberry bubblegum, actually. It's kind of a candy sweetness strawberry. There is also cinnamon in there, which kind of contradicts what I just said with the strawberries, but it's in there both. I mean, you guys know, you can get a lot of weird stuff, and they don't necessarily have to make sense or meld together. Little flowery, little light and crisp. surprisingly, none of that apple, which I believe I said was in both of them, like that cinnamon apple. All right, let's go ahead and have a taste. Cheers. Now that's pretty good. Boy, blending is just great. Ooh, there's an how did that get in there? There's almost like a licorice, like an anise at the finish. I'm not a huge fan of like black licorice flavor, but it was surprising. It's interesting, and it makes no sense. So I think that's kind of interesting. A lot of the flavors that you're getting here are heavy cinnamon. Heavy cinnamon. The apple is starting to come through a little bit, so that cinnamon apple's back. You are getting black pepper that came through. Those are overpowering a lot of the other nuanced flavors. I'm not getting anything really that light. The ABV has mellowed a bit. This is pretty cool. If you happen to have both of these, this is a worthwhile blend. You should try it. It's fun. Let me know, by the way, down in the comments, have you ever blended anything that you actually really liked? And what were those blends? Because that sounds really fun to me. So, yeah, that about does it. The oiliness is very enjoyable, though. I'm liking that a lot about this blend here. All right, so this was fun. Redbreast Cask Strength wins it by a lot. The blue spot is still very good. I believe I originally gave it a try it only because of the price, but they are both very good whiskeys. So, thank you for joining me here on this episode of Versus. I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know down in the comments below what you'd like to see me do a compare and contrast of. What do you want to see battle it out for that spot on your whiskey shelf? Thank you very much for joining me here on the Whiskey Dictionary. I hope you have a great rest of your night. Cheers.